Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and welcome to Hump Day. It is now the 8th day of December as Christmas is barreling down. 2021 almost over. And the funny thing is just like 2020, probably one of those years where everyone's like, man, I'm glad that year's over. The problem is, I think 2022, at least for the debt markets, could be very, very problematic as the Federal Reserve continues to, and I think they already know, they're backed into a corner. Do they fight the inflation? Do they not fight the inflation? Here's what we do know, that them talking about it hasn't worked. Tomorrow we're going to get a big piece of economic data out. The CPI is supposed to be out tomorrow, and everyone's expecting it to be another significant increase in inflation for everybody out there, which is going to put a lot of pressure on the central bank. And Jason, I will say this. I'm starting to hear reports all through the oil industry about all the underinvestment, how the Democrats have gotten these banks to be quote unquote woke, in saying that forget about $70 and $80 oil, $100 oil is coming because they just aren't investing enough to be able to pump enough oil in the future.
Supply and demand, even if there's tons of oil out there, if you can't get it to the market, the price will go up. So, and here's the other thing: do you think the Fed? Maybe the Fed chiefs, but do you think the guys that actually own the Fed really feel the pressure from anybody? Do you think they worry about market pressures? I mean, they basically are the market.
Well, I think they do. Yeah, I think they absolutely feel the pressure, because if they didn't feel the pressure, we wouldn't be talking like this, right? If they didn't feel the pressure, right, we wouldn't have had this massive taper still going on. And granted, now I should say the massive bond buying, and now the small taper that's happening. We wouldn't have rates at zero for 13 years. Minus a year and a half. So yeah, I think they do feel the pressure.
I guess you're right there. Yeah, but to me, I think they feel. To me, they're in such control globally with their banking cartel with all these other countries. I don't. To me, it's just another chapter in the book, because they know they've done their history, Joe. They're just like we've done. There's no fiat currency that lasts forever. It goes to zero. So I think the only pressure they're feeling is if they can reboot.
Yeah. I agree. Listen, they're not feeling the pressure from us. Right? They're not worried about the 330 Americans. I promise you that's not where the pressure is coming from. And you brought up a great point. Think about this stat, because a lot of us that like to deal in reality, we like facts. And here's a fact: every single fiat currency goes to zero. Every single one. There hasn't been a single exception. Not a single one. They all go to zero. And ultimately, when we talk about, here we are getting ready to end 2021, and I'm talking about 2022, and I think 2022, I think we're going to start seeing the cracks that are going to lead to the Federal Reserve note ending its existence, right? Another fiat currency going to zero. And that's really what we're talking about. Now, does that mean all your dollar holdings are going to go to zero? No, it'll get converted to some form of an electronic credit of some sort. But it's going to be the reset part, right, Jason?
Yes.
Where you lose, that reset part is where you lose so much of that wealth. So many, let's face it, we all work for dollars right now, right? We work for Federal Reserve notes, and the central bank can't devalue them fast enough.
Right.
And now, of course,
you get rid of the old rotten lettuce and you bring in the fresh new one, the new head of lettuce. That's what it is.
That's a great analogy. It is. That's true. We are right now. The Federal Reserve note is debasing itself right before our eyes. Right. It's starting to brown on the outside. Right.
Something stinks in the refrigerator.
Right. It's starting. There's a little bit of a smell, but you know what? It's not that bad. You don't want to hunt for it yet. Right. You're just like, wow, maybe if I shut it. I'll just shut the door, and I'll pretend that I didn't smell it, and maybe my wife will open it next, and maybe she'll go find it. That's where we're at right now.
That's exactly where we're at, Joe. That's the way it is. I mean, it's not really hard once you understand the rules of the game. It's just frustrating because we can't change it to be a more fair system. So we have to react to it. We have to buy gold and silver.
Yeah, exactly right. Buy gold and silver is definitely a great place to be. I've been telling you lately, hey, for a lot of people, hey, I've got a lot of gold and silver. What do I do with the rest of it? We'll have Joey's going to be on here with us next week, several times next week, so he can start telling you about some other options there as well. When we get back, we've got a really cool item that we've never done before. It's a collaboration between Patriot Trading Group, the radio station, and the Moonlight Mint that we want to tell you all about. Don't touch that dial. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be right back after the break. 800-951-0592, allamericangold.com. And Jason, we have a brand new item. It's a collectible. We've partnered the radio station, Patriot Trading Group, and the Moonlight Mint have collaborated on this. This is something Jason has been talking to me for probably 3 years, Jason?
Yeah. Yep.
Right? About Daniel Carr. Daniel Carr is an artist. He lives in Colorado. Matter of fact, pretty close to the radio station, right, Jason?
Yeah, just over I-25 on the west side. He's in the Loveland area. He's been minting coins for a long time. And Joe's going to give you more background, but he basically bought one of the old U.S. mint machines when they went on auction. And I think it was something. We're going to try to get him on the air here at KHNC sometime to tell a story. But I think after he got his machine and started minting these fantastic coins, the mint decided they didn't want to sell their machines to the public anymore because it's a little bit of competition if you're buying somebody else's coins or using somebody else's coins.
Yeah, and Daniel Carr is the artist. He has had, I want to say, half a dozen different designs of his selected by the U.S. Mint to put on coins. Several of the state quarters were his designs, just to name a few. But he is very well known in the collectible universe. Jason and Brian were selling these yesterday. They kind of jumped the gun on us a little bit. But we've got them up. If you go out to allamericangold.com, go to Patriot's website. If you click on the shopping cart button, and then you'll see the coins, and you'll see the KHNC collectible silver coin. The head side of the coin has the radio tower with the lightning bolts, like radio waves coming out of it. Daniel Carr did a great job with the design and the layout of the coin, just to give you an idea of how, I guess, popular this guy is. He's one of the only, I don't want to say the only, but one of the only artists I know of whose coins actually get graded.
Yeah, one of the grading companies, ANAX here in Colorado, they got so many people wanting to get them graded and have them archived in a plastic holder because they didn't want these coins to get scratched up in a capsule or a flip or in a tube. And the people really wanted the Defiance, Joe. So I think this is a great first coin for us to do.
Yeah, so if you go out to All American Gold, go out to the shopping cart, you'll see what I'll call the head side, which is the tower and all that stuff. Just click on it. And when you click on it, then you can also see the head side and the tail side. It is, Daniel Carr did a great job with the design and the layout of the coin, just to give you an idea of how, I guess, popular this guy is. He's one of the only, I don't want to say the only, but one of the only artists I know of whose coins actually get graded.
Yeah, one of the grading companies, ANAX here in Colorado, they got so many people wanting to get them graded and have them archived in a plastic holder because they didn't want these coins to get scratched up in a capsule or a flip or in a tube. And ANAX, I have a feeling, Joe, somewhere in the near future, you're going to see the other NGC and PCGS eventually grade his coins.
Yeah, well, right now, just on eBay, one of his, and I did one, he's got a lot of different designs, but a lot of his 1 ounce silver design coins, they're selling for $150, $200, $250 a pop. Yep. These are $75. And Jason, tell them the silver we used.
Yeah, we're doing something that nobody does for private minting. The blanks that are traditionally used for minting these silver rounds are just not available. Silver is just dried up everywhere. And he gave us a couple of options, and I'm like, well, because of how we're going to price this as a collectible, and because it'll cost, we're going to add a little cost because of how we're doing it, but we're also subtracting a little cost because it's going to make it easier. Because we could give him 10-ounce silver bars, which are also hard to get, and he could roll out the silver blanks himself. Then he has to remelt the silver, then roll out some more silver blanks, then remelt the silver. It's kind of a process. We just decided to go with overstrikes. Daniel Carr has actually been a customer Patriot Trading Group. He bought a large amount of $5 Liberties at one time to do overstrikes. He does these really cool overstrikes of existing coins. So we decided, I don't think anyone's ever done this. I don't think any private man has done this, but we're going to take a box of Silver Eagles. We're going to overstrike on Silver Eagles. So you're going to basically get
and one of the reasons why we just, one of the reasons, and Jason's right, cost was a big factor, availability, but one of the other reasons is these are the best, they're called planchets. These are the best planchets. The U.S. Mint, the standard, not that, Daniel doing his own and rolling them out and all that. These are the best of the best. So these are going to be the absolute highest quality. And that's, another factor in why we did it that way. And I think it just is really going to reflect on what a great coin this is going to be. It's also going to help the radio station as well raise some money as we're getting ready to put in new transmitters and all kinds of new equipment to make the radio station even better. And it's going to be limited. So right now, we started with 500. I don't think we'll do any more than that. If for some reason we do, Jason and I talked this morning, we'll cap it at 750. We won't do more than that.
Yeah, if we blow, I thought this would take about a month to sell through on these. If we get to Fake News Friday, which will be on for like I said 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Once that Pure Bloods hour comes out at 3 o'clock, and we'll talk about how many are left. If we're essentially out of coins, today being Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, if we get to like 400, 450, or we sell all 500, I do want to get people that didn't listen to the radio this week on vacation, whatever reason. I want to get everyone at least a shot at getting one of these before we stop minting them. So we may increase it to 700 or 800, whatever we decide, but we're not going to blow past 1,000 coins. We want to keep this limited because I think we have plans for other shows on the radio station to mint further coins if this is successful. This is
going to be something I think down the road is going to be highly, highly collectible. Here's the deal. So Jason and Brian ran them on their afternoon show, didn't even tell us about it. They already sold 87 just yesterday alone. So they're $75. Call All American Gold. Call Patriot. You can order it online at allamericangold.com. But if you want to order these coins, 800-951-0592, and you can order them right here. Jason, when are they going to be available?
Dan Carr has slated us to get the coins in our hands in 2 Fridays, not this Friday, but the next Friday. I'm not going to hold him to it because I want the coins to be done right. There's always snags, but he may get them sooner. He may take a little longer. We're hoping to have it for Christmas week. I know that a lot of people aren't going to buy it. Well, I think most of the people are going to buy these for themselves. We can buy them as a Christmas gift, but most of the people listening are going to want the coins, so they'll be buying them for themselves. But I want to be clear on 2 things, too. One, Joe, the idea behind this is once we pay for the cost of minting and the silver, we're going to help fund all of these fixes that the radio station needs. So this is a non-profit coin. This is a radio station, fix the radio station coin. And the other thing being, I forgot where I was going with the other point, but you definitely are not. Oh, yeah, the other point. We're selling for $75. You know, whenever the cost is paid for the silver and for the minting process, we're going to start getting the radio station fixed. This first coin isn't going to do it by itself, but it's going to help us. The other thing is, yeah, and the other thing is when people understood that this is to fix the radio station, and they get a really cool 1-ounce silver collectible coin straight from Patriot Trading Group and the radio station. A lot of people are going ahead and they're going to pay us $100 a coin. Now we're not requiring anybody to pay $100 a coin. But the more people heard that others were doing it, all of that money is good. We just need to get the radios. I mean, Joe, we've been struggling with that transmitter site for so long, and we need to get that fixed because I think big things are coming if we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus the fact, let me tell you, I know this. So this is part of something, and I can't say because she may be listening, but I've got a significant other that is very, 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 very much against masks and against vaccines. This is a great gift for people like that. They are absolutely going to love it.
Plus, if they don't listen to the radio station, Joe, if they don't listen to the radio station,
you guys are golfers out there. What a great ball marker! I mean, there's, yes. I mean, be fantastic.
Yep, absolutely. You know, people are still just finding the radio station. So when you pull this coin out and they see, you know, pure bloods, unmasked, not vaccinated, and then you flip it over, and there it is, 1360khc.com. It shows a very seriousness about what we're doing, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So when we're sitting here and we're looking at what's happening out there, you know, in the world today and all of those things, this show, the radio station in Colorado, all great causes to support what's getting that word out. 800-951-0592. When we get back, we're going to go and talk about, well, you know, some very interesting things happening with rent. As I mentioned, I talked about what people are saying in the oil patch industry, used car prices rising again. It's almost like it's never going to end. And just how many empty storage containers are there? And another country decides we don't need to use dollars. All of that and more coming up next. Welcome back. Patriot Radio News Hour, 800-951-0592. Let's just get right into it. Russia and India. Of course, remember, Joe Biden had the big phone call with Vladimir Putin yesterday. Did anyone feel real confident about that? Did you get a warm and fuzzy that the guy who doesn't even know what day of the week it is calling up the Russian president? It was a 2-hour conversation. Don't know if there was time allowed to have a potty break or maybe take a nap or have a Jell-O pudding pop. But they were talking about, you know, the Ukraine, right? Russia's building up the troops there on the Ukraine. Well, I find it interesting. On the same day, Jason, that Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin talk about it, Russia and India made a major announcement that they would no longer use U.S. dollars in mutual settlements, with all payments between Russia and India being done in rubles and rupees.
That's not surprising, Joe. Russia's been doing it for a while, so you continue on with the article, but yeah, you're going to see more and more of this year and next year and on and on. So this is going to create more inflation.
Well, and again, it's just, we knew Russia and China, they agreed to this. Now Russia and India, and again, on the same day, right? On the same day where, and Joe Biden was making, I'm going to take Russia out of SWIFT. Of course, SWIFT, not the trucking company, that is the cross-border payment system. And, of course, the U.S. is the one that apparently gets to decide who can use it and who can't. I guess someone forgot to tell the president that the Russians don't use SWIFT very much anymore because they don't hold a lot of dollars. And now another major, when you think about it, let's face it, China, they have 1.3 billion people. India's got over 1 billion people. These are two huge economies. China's already on par with the United States economically. India, you're right. They're probably next, right? They're charging hard, and for them to, I think it's two things. Obviously, another country that's going to hold less dollars.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Another country that's going to hold less dollars. And then I think the semantics of it doesn't look good. The optics don't look good. This was a day where the president was supposed to be, very tough and powerful, right?
And then he gets slapped.
And then India's like, we don't care about the phone call, right?
Joe, I said it on Monday that I believe that they're going to increase taper the Fed as much as they can, as fast as they can. And then, I don't know, a quarter point hike or a half a point hike sometime next year, and this thing comes down real hard. One big, maybe it's a 2020 kind of fast crash. Regardless, what's going to happen is I think they're preparing themselves to buy what essentially looks like India is going to start doing, and these other countries. They're going to start selling whatever treasuries they got and not replace them. And who's going to buy it? Who's going to buy this stuff? Well, the Fed's going to buy it, and they can't buy it if they're tapering. If the Fed's tapering, that's telling the rest of the world, well, why are we holding on to this? And I think that's the message that India got, and let's just buy it in something else. So yeah, it's coming, Joe. You watch, and the inflation will just get worse.
Again, these are the things, the unexpected things that our central bank seemingly wants to act like isn't happening out there, and why? Again, I think a lot of people, rightfully so. Listen, we get it. We know we've got a bubble. We know who created the bubble, right? We know, hey, listen, coronavirus came and happened. That was a bad thing, right? So that led to some debt, right? We know that. But we've had interest rates at zero. In other words, the central bank, the people that are, in charge of our money, what they tell us every day, it's not worth holding because we won't even pay you interest. It used to be you put your money in the bank. I mean, part of the reason why you put money in the bank, because really when you think about why would I put money in the bank, because as soon as I put it in the bank, I don't actually own the money anymore. The bank does. Right, and you're an unsecured creditor. I mean, this has been banking law since like the 1500s.
And Joe, the reason you do that is because not every guy out there knows how to invest money and make a return. So it's like, well, the banks know how to invest money, and I can get some of that return I will give them more of my capital. I'm going to put money in their bank. They're going to pay me a percent, because if they pay me 4%, maybe they make 8% on their investments. They make money. I make money because I have my money there, and I'm secure because I have my money in a safe place. But it doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way anymore, though. Not anymore.
That's how it was supposed to work. Remember, they used to give you a free toaster and all this stuff. But the real deal was, hey, you give it with us, and we'll pay you interest for loaning us this money, and we're going to make money by loaning it to somebody else for more than what we're paying you. right? And they're going to make the difference on the spread. That was the deal. That was the arrangement. And not only did they bring interest rates to zero, then they came up with this whole new thing about 2% inflation. So wait a minute. You brought rates to zero. Then you said, hey, our goal, our fantasy land, our Nevada, our happy times is if we can just get 2% inflation. So wait a minute. You want me to put the money in the bank, in your banking system, where I don't get any interest. Now you're telling me you want to devalue it by 2% a year. Well, that doesn't sound like a very good deal, does it? Now, of course, it used to be, remember, go back to the 70s, when they were raising rates. The banks were raising the interest that they were paying you to leave the money there. So you were at least protected. This is worse. Because tomorrow they're going to come out with another fake number that isn't 2%. It's not 3% or 4% or 5% or 6%. Somewhere between 6.5% and 7% that they're going to admit to, while paying you no interest. So we're going to devalue your money by 6.5%, 7%, and we're not going to give you any interest for it either. That's not the foundation for success. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. We have the first of its kind. I'm super excited on the radio station commemorative coin designed by famous artist Daniel Carr and the Moonlight Mint. They're available. If you want to look at the coin, go to allamericangold.com, hit the shopping cart button. I'm already seeing online orders come in. Phone orders are coming in. This is going to be limited. As Jason said, we're going to sell 500 of them. Maybe we'll throw a few hundred more in, maybe, but that's it. That's all there's going to be. It's just a great thing. It's really cool, and it's going to help the radio station. So you get the, and it's the best of the best. I mean, who uses silver eagles for their blanks? Right? Listen, Jason and I have never said we're the smartest people in the world, but we wanted these. Listen, we wanted the best of the best. We got the best artist, right? We got the best quality of coin possible, I think it's an awesome design. The pure blood, right? The unvaxxed, unmasked design. They're $75. You can order it online or just call here at Patriot 800-951-0592. So now we talk about India.
Hold on a second. Instead of just straight charity to the station, you get something really cool. I mean, let's face it. You get a 1 ounce pure silver coin, and it's collectible. So we could ask for donations to raise money, but this is just a better way to do it. Everybody wins.
Well, you know what the part I love about it is a lot of his silver coins that he designs, they're 100, 150, 200, 250, $300. I mean, this guy, he's famous, in that collectible world. And not only, like Jason said, he's actually bought in product from us, because he does this thing called overstrikes. But now we're doing stuff with him. So it's a great opportunity for everybody on board here. 800-951-0592. So now India has made a deal with Russia to say, hey, we won't use dollars. Now Halliburton, the largest fracker in the world, is warning that the world is headed into a period of scarcity in oil after 7 years of underinvestment. And was talking about, when crude oil plummeted from the $100 a barrel range. And ever since 2014, massive underinvestment in the oil fields and in the oil markets. Halliburton said for the first time in a long time, we'll see a buyer looking for a barrel of oil as opposed to a barrel of oil looking for a buyer. Not to be outdone, Scott Shetfield, CEO of Pioneer Natural Resources, came out and just talked about the same thing. Massive underinvesting in oil drilling projects, returning money to shareholders. It's going to take years to get anywhere close to the pre-pandemic production levels, and says that he's worried about oil being above $100 a barrel, Jason.
I don't think it's going to stop there either. You know, there's not people putting bets on $200 a barrel for nothing that we reported, a month ago, right, or 2 months ago. This inflative cycle is you're going to see prices on things that we've never seen before, and oil is energy and food is, to me, those are the most important ones. That's what affects people directly. Joe, I would not be surprised in 2022. I'm going to the gas pump and it's $6 a gallon. It's very possible.
Well, here in Arizona, a lot of places we see $4. I think, really $3.70 to about $4.10 for the cheap stuff. Yesterday, so I had to get gas yesterday, and I tell her, the gas is cheaper at the office than it is at my house. So I like to get gas here. It was $3.70. But the next grade, they got the 3 grades, the cheap stuff, the 87, then the 89, then the 91. The 87 was $4 and change. Or I'm sorry, the 89. So $3.70 for the cheapest cheap, but just going up. Usually, you go up the next one, you add 10 or 15 cents. It was 35 cents more. The premium was like 80 cents a gallon more.
Man.
And again, I don't buy premium, but I was shocked.
Yeah, well, I used to drive cheap cars and put the cheap stuff in, but once in a while, if you have a nicer car, you like that higher octane, and that adds up pretty fast, Joe.
Well, guess what? I got more bad news. Prices of cars and trucks sold at auctions jumped another, 3.9, let's round it up, call it 4% in November from October, according to Manheim, the largest auto auction operator in the United States. Now, again, remember, this is wholesale. They're now saying, Manheim's saying that wholesale used car prices are up 44% from the already sky-high levels of last year. So they already said, listen, at the end of 2020, prices were ridiculous. They're even more ridiculous now. And, Jason, in just the last 2 months, Manheim says that used vehicle prices are up another 14%.
That's right. So after your energy, your food, and your shelter inflated costs, which everyone has to get that. The next 2 things is communications and transportations. That's the next thing that affects everybody. And look at the transportation costs, buying a car, right?
Well, buying a car, putting fuel in the car,
yep.
Right?
I'm guessing Ubers are going to get more expensive too. But wait for your Uber and your taxi.
Yeah, that's right. I forget about it. Have you gotten an Uber lately? Wow, is that expensive. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. The going to be highly collectible 1360 KHNC Pure Blood coins minted by Daniel Carr, the Moonlight Mint. They're at $75 today. You can buy them online. You can call us here at Patriot, 800-951-0592. How about Jeff Gunlatch, a guy that I follow? The guy knows his stuff. This is, the billionaires give him their money. Talking about the Federal Reserve, the taper, the threat of raising rates, calling it the canary in the coal mine. Just to throw this out, just take last Friday alone. Jason and I have been talking about the markets a lot. Underneath the feel-good top, last Friday, the NASDAQ 585 stocks hit new 52-week lows. 12 hit new 52-week highs, Jason.
Yeah, and we're in an inflation cycle. People should be putting money into stuff, and if they're hitting lows, that shows you a tremendous amount of market crashing. But as long as the Nasdaq numbers, and the Dow and the S&P numbers are higher every couple of weeks, that's all is good, right, Joe? But just for a few companies that have been chosen, right?
Yeah, and that's really when you're looking at a lot of things out here in the marketplace, and when you got oil guys, listen, these aren't oil traders, right? Trying to make a buck, right? Hey, I'm just trying to move the market here for a day or two to make some money. We're talking about the CEOs of some of the largest oil producers, like in Halliburton, the largest fracker. Then we had one of the largest drillers, right, coming out and saying, this has been underinvestment going on for years. We're going to have, faster taper, raising rates, and yet oil still climbing. It's one of those, again, Jason, we talk about the perfect storm of runaway inflation. This is how it happens.
And that is correct. And another way to back up your what you're talking about with stocks, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, we talked about it before. He's buying robots, and what did he do? He bought the company that makes the robots. So Walgreens and Gap and Staples no longer can buy robots, which means they're going to compete less with Amazon. This is why big companies get bigger, smaller companies die out, and it's because there's not enough money for all the competition for these products. Joe, this shows market stress. A growing market means there's room for everybody, right, Joe? We don't have that anymore.
No, that's absolutely right. Matter of fact, we probably got the exact opposite. We have never seen so much contraction. I didn't even get to it. I wanted to highlight. Do you know that we are shipping out, exporting out 10% less containers than we were shipping out last year?
That's significant, and we still do. We know that we don't make a lot of stuff, but we do make a lot of stuff. We still do send out a lot of stuff to other countries, and 10%, Joe, that's huge. That's a big.
It blew me away because I'm like, you're kidding me. So even during the pandemic and all of this, the number of countries leaving the United States continues to grow. It's just not a good omen for things to come. Patriot Radio News Hour